Welcome, Greg Smith.
7 years ago, I lost the entire inheritance my grandfather left me. He was born in 1897, and the day he was born, his father left him, just him and his mother. At the age of 9, when he was at school, the principal called in the office and said, "Your mother was found dead this morning, and you're an orphan." And in the 1900s, when you were an orphan, that meant you had nowhere to go. So he lived off the streets and eventually found his aunt. And his aunt let him live underneath the porch of their home because the uncle wouldn't let him in the house. And they would sneak food and put it on the porch so he'd have something to eat. Well, winter came, and he couldn't live under the porch anymore. So he found a family, a Jewish family, that took him in and let him run the store, take care of the store, and they taught him business. And for close to 10 years, he worked for this Jewish family and learned how to use money, how to treat customers, how to take care of things. And then he started a company. He started a company called Diamond Steel Construction Company. It's still around today. Fast forward. I'm 8 years old. I'm sitting down. My grandfather's in a wheelchair. He wanted to talk to me. He said, "Greg," and he says, I set up something called an Elvis Presley Trust. And you won't know what that is until you're about 35, and then you'll understand. Basically, I can't leave my company to your dad because he'll have to pay taxes. But if I leave this to you, you won't have to pay any taxes on this business. So when you're 35, you will own my company. 8 years old, there's my grandpa. My grandpa played with Jim Thorpe for the Canton Bulldogs. I mean, big dude, tough, but sweet as you can be. Just respected that. And he passed away soon after that. And my dad's company was doing very well. He had started a company when he came back from college. It's still around today. It does very well. And I thought, I went to college. I'm educated. I'm going to start a business. So I started one. It was doing great. I actually had my product in every single sporting store in the United States. I was excited. I was ready to go. And I thought, wow, this is great. And then something called the Mitchell Report came out. When the Mitchell Report came out, the person that endorsed my product, whose face was on every single package that was in every single sporting goods store, in every single store in the United States, that was Roger Clemens. He was on that Mitchell Report because he used performance-enhancing drugs. And guess what came back in the mail from every single sporting goods store within 2 weeks? All that product, they wanted nothing to do with it. I thought my father was going to kill me. I thought I was dead because I used every cent I had. I borrowed from people. I borrowed from banks to do this. I risked everything. And he came in the kitchen and he goes, "Well, it's only money, son. You lost your grandfather's inheritance. You got to sell that." But he says, "You're not going to pay off your house that you borrowed money on because you're going to learn this lesson. And you won't learn it unless you have some pain here." Well, when I really think about it, the one thing I want to do is apologize to my grandpa someday because I really screwed up. But what I learned from it is huge. See, there's things in life you can control. Like when my wife said, "I don't like your partner," maybe I should have listened. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about. Right? And then my dad told me, never, ever, 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 ever do business with somebody that doesn't pay their federal income taxes. Because if they don't respect the federal government, they sure as heck are not going to respect you. Didn't listen. Now, just those first two pieces of advice, I wouldn't have been in the problem I was, because I wouldn't have started the company, wouldn't have started to begin with. And then Ron Blue, great financial advisor, told me, never borrow money on your house for a business. It's professional gambling. Do not do it. I did it. And then John York, owner of the 49ers, said, whatever you do, never pay a professional athlete straight money. Always pay them for what's sold, because they'll work hard, because they know if they don't sell them, they don't get paid. Didn't listen. Paid Roger straight out. And then something came along that I couldn't control, the Mitchell Report. And what I learned is there are best practices in life. There are best things. People have gone through things. And you can learn about those things. And you can design your life based on other people's experience and what works and what doesn't work. So when the things that do come along that you can't control, you're in a better position. In the last 7 years, I worked very hard, and I have really found best practices in the business world. And in fact, I've had the opportunity, the blessed opportunity, to become a Bold coach. And Bold absolutely has taken the best of what you should do in systems in business and ways of thinking in business that will propel you and double and triple the size of your business in very short periods of time by following simple systems that work. And I want you to know I'm here today, and I want to teach you those systems. Thank you.
This was a really personal story, you know.
Yes.
What made you want to tell a story like that? People, kind of face, I don't know if you can actually call it failure, but learning lesson.
Well, the truth of it is, people connect. The gold in your life is where you failed and where you've grown, because that's their scars, and people connect to scars. They, when somebody walks in and says, "I want $1 million, I want $1 million," you're like, "Oh, great for him." But if he comes out, "I lost everything I have," you're like, "Wow," and you lean into that. See, it's just like my son, we were talking, he wants to become a DJ. I said, "What in your life?" He's 14 years old. I said, "What happened in your life that would propel you to be a DJ?" And he really couldn't think of anything, but then he thought, well, I got this machine, and you program the buttons, and I worked for hours on programming all the buttons, and my friend came over, and I demonstrated, and he said, "What did you think?" And he went, "Oh, it was okay." And he couldn't believe it, and it just propelled him to realize, even though you put all the work in, if you don't really master it, if you don't get really good and practice, so it's performance level, then it's going to be average. So it propels him. Every day my son puts in between 20 to 2 hours of practicing being a DJ and mixing music. And that propelled him. That's his personal story, and that's going to connect people. And they're going to understand that when you listen to Skylar Smith's music, it's going to be good.
Awesome. Now tell us a little bit, I found this very interesting. The thing that you were doing this speech for, the program that you're talking about, do you want to tell a little bit about that, or do you as it's coming along?
I'm very excited to talk about it. Keller Williams has a program that started right around 2009. It's called Bold, and it teaches the real estate agents how to run the real estate market and how to run their business as far as generating leads, generating sales. It's scripted, it's very system oriented, and they decided, because it was so huge and successful with Keller Williams, they wanted to give that out to their customers. So they're offering the first step to Bold free, which is a great system, and you'll learn a lot. And if you want to go on and learn all the intricacies of it, so for application and transformation of your business, there's actually a paid part of it that you can take this course. It's over 6 weeks. And then there's also another part that goes for their support staff that's 4 weeks and half days. So it's a fantastic release, because they are the #1 training company in the world. And most people that take their course increase their business, if not double it, even more.